Today we are going on to Teaching Social Emotional Skills Part 3. Just a reminder, this is our structure of support here for all children. We want to make sure we have those nurturing and responsive relationships, high quality environments. We're going to teach targeted social emotional skills for about most of our group. We teach the skills to all of our children, but some kids are going to need some more intensive supports. And then for very few of our students, we'll have those intensive individualized interventions. Pyramid model is, we want to make sure we are promoting best practices and preventing challenging behaviors as much as possible. We're going to talk about that more on the closer to that second tier on social emotional supports today. And so we're going to start off with teaching self-regulation skills. So anger can really interfere with children's thinking. Children have to learn how to recognize anger in themselves and others and understand appropriate ways to express anger and other strong emotions. So we're going to talk about some ways to teach children how to regulate those strong emotions. It's really important to teach young children effective ways to control their strong emotions in conflict situations, because we know that aggression and inadequate impulse control are probably the most potent obstacles to effective problem solving and successful relationships in childhood. We also know that aggressive children are more likely to experience peer rejection and continued social problems into elementary school and beyond. And evidence shows that aggressive children are more likely to misinterpret another peer's intentions as hostile or threatening. So we still see this three-step process when we're teaching self-regulation and calming strategies. So we're going to show and tell, we're going to practice, and then we're going to work on maintenance with the you got it stage. Sometimes we use the terms self-regulation or co-regulation when discussing ways people manage their emotions and emotional state. Cultural values and expectations for children influence whether children are taught to independently regulate their emotions or regulate emotions with the help of an adult. So in today's training, we're going to use the term emotional regulations, and we're going to cover a variety of strategies. So we want to think about what kind of skills can be taught to help children learn how to self-regulate and calm their bodies. So this is a short list here to help children learn to recognize and label emotions that might be overwhelming, including anger, fear, excitement, and jealousy. And so we want to use these calming techniques when their emotions become elevated. We encourage teachers to partner with families to identify culturally appropriate practices to support the emotional regulation of children. Emotional regulation refers to the ability to regulate one's emotions and behaviors in different settings and activities. So this is going to include all emotions we might experience, not just the negative ones like anger and sadness. We think about children who may become incredibly excited and have a really hard time keeping their bodies still, or children who may be so excited to see a friend after school that they run toward them and jump on them. So children with disabilities and children who have experienced trauma may also need more support, including modifications and more opportunities to practice when they are learning emotional regulation. So here's an example of how we might use visuals to support a child in calming down when they're experiencing strong emotions. The relaxation thermometer provides a great visual representation to assist children in learning how to regulate their emotions when their feelings are elevated. It's important that we teach this strategy and tool when children are calm and engaged. So we're going to teach them how a thermometer works. We're going to teach the children to recognize feelings that affect their bodies and their ability to regulate. We're going to use the thermometer as a visual to show how their effect changes and can intensify or relax and calm themselves depending on the level of emotion that they're experiencing. So just a reminder, just like all of those strategies, we do have to practice this skill when children are calm and regulated. Then when they are in need of using the strategy, we can prompt them either with a visual or a verbal prompt. So this is directly taught to all children in the classroom during large and small groups. And then the strategy can be individualized to teach and support a child who might need additional assistance. So we can use a blank thermometer as a visual, and we can always change the wording on it depending on what we kind of want to represent. So as the children are learning how the relaxation thermometer works, we can embed those planned opportunities for children to practice the skill. What are some of the more challenging emotions that you guys tend to see in your classrooms?
For me this year, it's definitely tantrums. Like I have some children that are really young in their social emotional development. And so their peers really struggle with understanding why they're pitching a tantrum, because, normally that's typically seen in twos and threes. And by the time they're four, it's not quite as intense. Um, so I use Tucker Turtle a lot at the beginning of the school year to talk to the kids about our feelings and show them where our calm down spaces in the classroom. I actually have two. I have one that's by my desk so they can be close to me at times if they need to be. Not that I'm there very much, but it just because that's like my area, they feel comfortable there. And I have a nice little bean bag there and some stuffies and stuff. But yeah, tantrums for me has been, like the extreme anger has really been one of our challenging emotions this year. I do have some impulsivity, but it's not like super overwhelming. The children have been able, we've talked about it, and they're learning to communicate with each other about, hey, I don't want to be touched right now. They've gotten really good about asking each other, hey, can I give you a hug? Instead of just like bombarding them, and everything. So everything has actually gotten much better as the school year has gone on. My person that was, having the extreme anger and tantrums now has learned how to calm down, to get up and walk away and take a break when they need to take a break. And then we go check on them when they're about it.
Thanks, Gloria. Yeah, it sounds like you got some great strategies in place to kind of be proactive on those feelings.
Sometimes it's day to day. You think you got it, and then the next thing you know, you've got to think about something else that works or that might work.
Anything coming up for you, Miss Evelyn?
Mine is basically the same, and we use the feeling dolls a lot.
Oh yeah.
We ask them, we try to interact with them the first thing in the morning time, and use the feeling dolls, and that helps out too. Like she was saying, I agree with you saying, like the temper tantrum, and then you tell them to do something, and then they having a tantrum with the other kids. So we working on that too. And I know we had our training last week, and we're gonna use Tucker the Turtle. So next week, well, Monday, we starting that, because I had another set for the 2-year-old. So I agree.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll go over Tucker today too. So hopefully you'll get some ideas on how to implement that. All right, so there are different ways that teachers have helped children to learn and practice how to take calming breaths. So one strategy you can use is use a pinwheel. Teach the children how to take deep breaths. So smell the flowers and then blow out to exhale. So this is a really nice poster for taking deep breaths. We are going to share this in the follow-up email. There are lots of different strategies and materials that can be used to teach emotional regulation and calming strategies. So one example is creating a cozy corner in the classroom environment and teaching children how they can access this setting if they're starting to feel upset and dysregulated.
Right there, where, sorry.
Oh, you're gonna just make sure you have a question. This cozy area is a place where children can choose to go to take a break by getting away from the activities of the classroom and kind of a calming down and regrouping themselves with the calming strategies. And then once they are calm, they can rejoin the class activities. We don't really want to use the calming place as a timeout center. We want it to be a safe space that they know they can access when they are feeling dysregulated. So there is that kind of key point. We can also play games to help practice emotional and body regulation, like fast and slow, stop and go games, red light, green light. This can really help children intentionally move fast and then slow and then stop, which does help them develop self-regulation and self-control skills. Calm down jars can be added to emotional regulation kits or cozy areas in the classroom. So calm down or calming strategy choices can be taught and provided to children in cozy areas. And these examples are there's some visual supports available, including counting to 10, doing a drawing, hugging somebody, bouncing a ball. We can also teach mindfulness and yoga poses to children to support calming. It's best to teach children these skills when they are already calm. We're going to practice them often and intentionally embed them in learning opportunities within our daily routines. So this is just a sample of strategies. There's tons of other strategies that are effective for helping children calm themselves. We're gonna watch just kind of part of this video. It's a calming circle. So during this circle time, this preschool teacher has the children doing a calming activity that includes deep breathing and stretching. So as you watch the video, just kind of keep in your brain, how is this teacher promoting the children's engagement in this activity, and what might improve this practice?
Smell the cookies. Smell them again. One more time. Go very slow.
So, we see her modeling it. She's got some nice music on. She's showing them how to take these nice breaths, these body movements so that they're physically engaged. And she starts her circle time like this to kind of calm everybody down before they start going into the lesson. And I think the whole video itself is just over 2.5 minutes. So this could be very easily integrated within a large group setting. And I mean, from the looks of the students, these kids are probably about 3. So, we can do this with younger students too, to help calm them down before a group activity, make it easier on yourself and teachers.
I like that. Never thought about doing that before, having a calming before. I usually have them do some type of movement before we go to circle, just, so they can get all that energy, pent up energy released. And then we come, but I like that, adding it to it.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be a full, 20, 30-minute activity. You can just do
Right.
a minute or two, facilitate it, practice it with them, and use some key words in there. Like we're gonna practice some breathing strategies, or we're gonna practice doing in our nose, out our mouth. That way, when you need to prompt them later on, that the same words will click with past experiences.
Yeah.
All right, so a cozy area or calming area in the classroom offers children a safe space to go to help manage those big emotions. Again, they should never be used to punish children, and children should not be forced to go in these calming areas. Children choose this as a safe space to calm down. This is an area for the children to access on their own or with gentle guidance. And the child will regroup by using some calming strategies and techniques. And when they're ready, they'll join back in with the class activities. So we want to keep this space visible in the classroom, so it's not an enclosure where children or adults cannot see one another. We want to keep it decluttered and separate from the library and book area. So this is a space, again, to use to self-regulate. When establishing a calming area in the classroom, it's important to create rules on how to use this space. So the rules might include things like, this is a place where I can go to calm my body. I can choose a tool to help calm myself, such as like a pillow or a scripted story, pinwheels, that stress relaxation thermometer, stress balls, sensory materials, music. We also want to make sure we're teaching feelings, and we can also teach the turtle technique, which we'll go over shortly. And we want to open the cozy corner as a center for children to explore at first, so they can learn about what activities are available there. Then we're going to teach children about the expectations. And remember, as a teacher, we will need to decide what's okay, when it's okay for children to go into this space. And we're going to teach children what they can do once they're in the calming corner to calm down, and how to know when they're ready to return back to class. So the turtle technique, it's a great strategy for children to use to manage big emotions. Sorry. To use the turtle technique, children are going to be prompted to recognize how they're feeling. We're going to teach them to stop their body, tuck their head into their shirt like they're going into their shell, take 3 deep breaths, and calm down. So there's some images for teaching the steps of the turtle technique and a scripted story about Tucker the turtle who takes time to tuck and think. We'll send the resources for that in the follow-up email. This story is also available in other languages, including Spanish, on the challengingbehaviors.org website. So this just shows the steps for using the turtle technique to regulate anger, frustration, and other big, strong emotions in order to calm down. So they're going to recognize, hey, I'm feeling really angry or really excited or really sad right now. I'm going to stop my body. I'm going to tuck my head into my shell, take 3 deep breaths, determine if I'm ready or not, and then come out when they're calm so that they can think of a solution. Even if they aren't ready after those first 3 deep breaths, encourage them to take 3 more deep breaths. They might need a 3rd round of 3 deep breaths, and that's okay. But we want them to be able to recognize those emotions and recognize when they need to take a break before they do something that harms themselves or other people. So we are going to teach the turtle technique in large and small group activities, and we can teach it with the puppet. Puppet's really helpful, helps keep children engaged during the lesson. We can introduce the turtle to the class. After the children get a chance to say hello, we're going to share the turtle's special trick for calming down. Then the turtle's going to describe a time he got upset in school. And we might select a incident familiar to the children, something that happens frequently in our classrooms. We're going to demonstrate how he thinks to himself to stop go into his shell, take 3 deep breaths, and then he's going to think to himself, I am calm, and I'm going to be able to think of some solutions to solve my problem. And at this point in the process, the turtle technique is used to demonstrate that when he is calm and comes out of his shell, he's ready to problem solve peacefully. We're also going to model remaining calm. So when a conflict between children occurs, we're going to make sure that we check within our own feelings to make sure we're not at a heightened sense, and we're going to stay calm. We're going to check on our tone of voice, our physical presentation, our facial expressions. Also, if we have a conflict, we're going to model how we use the technique as well. So, even when we're feeling upset, we can say, I am feeling upset right now. I need to stop my body. I'm going to take my head into my shell and I'm going to take 3 deep breaths. That way they see you using this strategy as well. We're going to prepare and help children handle possible disappointment or change by reminding them to think like a turtle when they are feeling angry, mad, or other big, strong emotions. We're going to recognize and comment positively when the child does stay calm. We can also involve families by working with them to develop ideas for teaching the Tucker Turtle technique at home. There's actually specific visuals and a specific scripted story for families to have at home too. It's, Tucker Turtle takes time to think at home. So it's very similar to the school version, but it does have a family version available. All right, so we're going to see a short video here. We're not going to watch the whole thing because it is 5 minutes long. But in this video, we're going to see how the teacher teaches and guides children to use the turtle technique. So as we watch it, we want to look for how she's prompting and how the child follows through with her.
One of the most popular and effective self-regulation techniques you can use with young children is called the turtle technique. It's a 4-step process to help children recognize their emotions and regain control of their bodies so they can successfully re-engage in the classroom. With the turtle technique, children learn to follow these 4 steps. 1. Recognize what they're feeling. 2. Think stop. 3. Go inside their shell to take 3 deep breaths and think calming thoughts. And 4. Come out when they're calm and find a solution to the problem. Let's see how this technique works in action. This teacher notices the early signs of escalation when she sees a child looking frustrated. She meets the child over at the cool-down corner, reflects her feelings,
Amanda, ¿qué tú tienes que hacer? Porque yo te sentí un poco frustrada.
and cues her to calm down using the turtle technique.
Now, cross. ¿Tú quieres que yo lo haga también o tú lo quieres hacer sola? Ok, las dos. ¿Dónde ponemos la cabeza? Vamos. 1, 2, 3. Are you better now? What you gonna do?
Let's review the steps of the turtle technique they used. The teacher helps the child recognize what she's feeling. Then she prompts her to stop. Then she guides the child to go inside of her shell and take 3 breaths to think calming thoughts. Once the child is feeling calm, the teacher prompts her to come out and find a solution.
Are you better now? What you gonna do? Think. What you gonna think?
As you can see, this is a great technique for helping children feel safe and supported when they're dealing with strong emotions.
So we see the example of the teacher prompting her in the cozy corner and walking through the steps with her. So this is something that they've pre-taught when they were in large or small groups, when children are calm and ready to receive information. Just a reminder, when children are upset, that is not our time to teach them a new strategy because they are not going to be as receptive to that information. They're not going to be able to take it in and use it very well. So when we are teaching self-regulation strategies, it is important to make sure we teach them and practice them when students are calm. All right, so after we teach children how to regulate their strong emotions and calm down, we have to provide those opportunities for practice. So what are some current materials or activities that you guys use to provide self-regulation practice opportunities in your classroom?
As I said before, we have Tucker Turtle. I actually made Tucker Turtle years and years ago. I have material that I was supplied at a conference that I went to, and I still have him. So I bring him out every year and we go over that. Also, I took the trauma class, and they taught us about like blowing the pinwheel and those kinds of things. So I have a basket of things that I share with the kids, that they're able to use. And then got some really neat sensory tubes. There's like 4 of them. They do different things for the kids to be able to use. And so in Circle, I've shared those with them. I have that same story that you were showing on the video about self-regulation and the cards. So, we read that from time to time and go over the different ways of how to, self-regulate our emotions.
Nice. Lots of strategies there, Gloria. Nice work.
Well, I have a new teacher, like I said, we was using the feeling. So we haven't really worked on any major one because she hadn't been here that long. So we gonna start in the beginning. But
That sounds great.
yeah, the feeling one definitely worked. They love it. I did it. Matter of fact, she was reading a story and one of the boys was sad because of the car. And I said, "What feeling do you feel?" And then the kid got up and ran to the dog, and showed the feelings.
How cute.
Yep, I like it. And then we have the posters on the door as well. And in the morning time we use those too as well.
Thanks for sharing, Miss Evelyn.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we can use the turtle technique to support children in small groups. So this is an example of how the teacher completed an extension activity with children in a small group literacy lesson. So this example shows that the teacher was thinking about how to use Tucker Turtle during small group time. They were reflecting in small groups. So, what did Tucker Turtle learn? Tucker Turtle's tucking in to listen to Star Wars music. That's what they started with. And then after they learned the actual use of it, they responded with Tucker learned to calm down and take turns and find another way. So with guiding children in the moment, we're going to help respond to a child's strong emotions in the moment very frequently. And so we're going to watch a short video and see what kind of strategies you have used before and anything that you might want to share with the group as well.
Children feel strong emotions for a variety of reasons. Sometimes those reasons may feel out of line or unreasonable to us adults. For example, a child may completely fall apart just because it's raining and outside play is canceled. But even in situations when we think the reason for a meltdown might be small or petty, it's important to remember that the emotions a child feels are still very real. So, although it may be natural sometimes to dismiss their feelings with comments like, "Oh, don't be mad," or "It's silly for you to cry over this, it's nothing," it's not an effective way to deal with them. Our goal as teachers is not to stop children from feeling emotions, but rather to acknowledge and help children learn to manage them. Let's cover steps you can use to do this. First, monitor early signs of escalation through children's words, facial expressions, and their body language. Or in this case, the teacher picks up on the fact a young boy has positioned himself behind a wall with his face covered. Tightened fists, clenched teeth, and strained or loud voices are all signs a child may be getting upset. By picking up on the children's signs early on, you can help children cope with strong emotions before they completely lose control. Next, reflect a child's feelings using a calm and soft voice.
I know that you are mad and sad.
When the teacher says, "I know that you are mad and sad," she's validating the child's feelings. She's letting him know that she understands and accepts what he's feeling. Then, cue the child to use a self-regulation technique, such as taking deep breaths.
Let's do esto. Espérate, que él tiene que hacer esto. Stop. Now, what you gonna do? Vamos, man. 1, 2, 3. How do you feel now?
Once the child begins using a technique to calm down, be sure to acknowledge the effort through reinforcement. This can be words of encouragement, such as "great job breathing," or a simple pat on the back or smile. It's important to remember.
So that just wraps up those 4 key points of supporting children during strong emotions. So monitoring, reflecting, cueing, and then reinforcing. So these are materials that we can use to teach self-regulation skills. So Tucker Turtle takes time to tuck and think. Tucker Turtle takes time to tuck and think at home. Tucker Turtle Puppet, the relaxation thermometer, stop and go signs, pinwheels, items that we can add to our calm down corner, like glitter jars or calm down posters, those emotional regulation visuals. There's also some resources on the challengingbehavior.org website called the Backpack Series. And these are family handouts that can be used for a whole slew of topics, including self-regulation. One of my favorite parts about those is many of the Backpack series are translated into other languages. So we can always send home information in our language that the family knows best. So we have this quote here: young children suffering from traumatic stress symptoms generally have difficulty regulating their behaviors and emotions. They may be clingy and fearful of new situations, easily frightened, difficult to console, and or aggressive and impulsive. They might have trouble sleeping, lose recently acquired developmental skills, and show regression in functioning and behavior. So we may see strong emotions in children exposed to trauma. These might be in the form of externalizing or internalizing behaviors. For children exposed to trauma, we want to prioritize making sure that we are building a relationship with them, that we are providing predictability, and that we are expressing empathy. For some children, we might know about a trauma history, and for many others, we might not know at all. So as we respond to children, we need to think about how we can respond to strong emotions in a way that does not re-traumatize the child and supports the child in feeling safe and developing these trusting relationships. Okay, so these are some resources that will be sent out for self-regulation session today. So Tucker Turtle, Backpack Connection, Calm Down Visuals, and then using a calm down area at home. Does anybody have any questions about self-regulation before we go through problem-solving skills?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so our second section for today, problem-solving skills. Here are some things that we know about children who know how to problem solve. Children who know how to problem solve understand that their behavior has consequences. Children are able to think of multiple solutions for problems. They're better able to decrease their social problems between themselves and their peers. This also helps them increase their independence and play in social interactions, which decreases the need for the teacher to solve classroom social problems as frequently. And then children are also able to work together to solve problems. So remember, these are our 3 stages of learning: that show and tell, that practice, and then that maintenance and generalization in the you got it phase. So we're going to talk about problem solving when presented with interpersonal situations. Some children, not all of them, but some children find it difficult to think of alternative responses. So we want children to learn problem solving steps, to be able to think of alternative solutions, and to learn that solutions have consequences. So preschool age children can effectively be taught problem solving skills. So problem solving is the ability to identify that a problem has happened in a social situation, recognize that their problem is big, and if they are going to need adult help, or if the problem is small and if they can work it out on their own. They are also going to need to be able to think of multiple solutions to solve the problem, understand that each solution has consequences, not necessarily bad, but consequences. Whatever they try out, there's going to be a response to that solution. And then understand that when one solution doesn't work, that they can try another solution to solve the problem. So we think about common social problems in a preschool setting, such as sharing toys, feeling left out of play, needing help or assistance, requesting for an activity to stop, wanting a turn, the inability to complete a task or an activity, and also lack of understanding of what to do during an activity or what to do next. We also sometimes see teasing or name calling. So when children are faced with conflict, many young children have difficulty coming up with solutions, appropriate solutions, and they act out in anger or frustration because they don't have a more appropriate way to deal with the situation. Children have to be specifically taught the problem-solving steps. Just like everything else we've talked about in this training series, they have to be taught these things in order to be able to think of multiple alternative solutions and understand that those solutions have consequences. So these problem-solving steps can be shown on posters or on keyring visuals to teach the class. So the steps are going to include: what is the problem? Identifying what is the problem. Thinking through some solutions and thinking of alternative solutions. And then think about what would happen if. So learn that solutions have consequences and learn to evaluate those solutions. Is this solution safe? How is this solution going to make other people feel? Understanding consequences can be taught to children through role playing. We can do it with puppets. We can do it with the children. We can role play with adults. Role play out good solutions and bad solutions, and then have them give it a try. So children are going to be encouraged to use the best solution that they thought of. They're also going to be taught that, sometimes when a solution doesn't work, we got to try a different solution. All right, so our show and tell section, this is where we are going to teach the problem solving steps, teach variety of solutions, teach how to access a solution kit or other tools, and then teach possible consequences. So here are some images of potential solutions to a lot of common problems that happen in the classroom. These are going to be shared with you guys in the follow-up email. This is not an exhaustive list, nor is it meant to be taught or introduced all at once. This is a lot of cards. This is a lot of things to try and teach a solution results. So teachers have the most success by introducing and teaching solutions either individually or a small group of solutions at a time. Younger children need a few selected solutions at first. So things like flipping a coin or making a new choice or think about next time. There are a variety of ways to use these images for teaching children how to problem solve. So we might pair them with a book. We might discuss what solution a character might choose in that book. We might create a puppet play about a peer conflict and then selecting a solution. Or we might describe scenarios to children and then have them select a solution. There is a scripted story called We Can Be Problem Solvers. Lovely social story. So this social story reviews the steps to problem solving, but also has a variety of common problem scenarios that happen in preschool environments. So the scenario cards can then be used to help the children generate solutions. So the story and the scenario cards are a really nice addition to group time or small group activities. And we'll be sharing that resource today too. We have a lot of resources on today's session. All right, this one is a short video, but it's just about 25 seconds. And this is going to be an example of how planned and intentionally embedded learning opportunities are a really effective way to teach any skill. So in this video, we're going to see a teacher leading a small group activity, and we're going to try and pay attention and notice how the children are in the activity. So we want to think through, what do we think the learning objectives for this activity are? What are some strategies used to help engage the children? And how would you expand this activity and support these skills in other daily routines?
You want to use this suitcase to help me out? All right, the chipmunk is reading an ABC book. And
Very
you're
quiet.
reading a book about farm animals, but you really want to use the ABC book. What can you do? Maybe in a few minutes. What would your next solution be?
Can we play together?
Sure, I would love to, Lucy. We can both read the book. That's a great idea.
All right, so, we see a book, we've got some puppets, we've got some solution cards. So she's using a bunch of strategies here all together with this small group activity.
You want to use this suitcase?
So we also want to make sure that we are modeling and labeling problem-solving steps within our interactions between children across the day. Children are going to learn the problem-solving steps and developing multiple solutions for problems by practicing. So we want to intentionally plan problems to help children practice solving all kinds of problems embedded in the day. So some examples of some intentional problems might be placing only enough materials at a center so that the children are required to share. Or we might forget to bring a book or a material that we need to circle time and allow the children to help us problem solve. We might also plan an art project where children have to share or take turns to complete the project. We might make snack time a problem-solving time. We only have one orange, but we have 4 friends at the table. We have a problem. What are some solutions we can come up with? Or when we're reading a story, we allow the children to provide solutions for the character's problem before finding out what happens next. So lots of different ways to embed that. So here's some 5 steps to enhance problem-solving skills. We're going to anticipate. So expect problems to occur in our classroom. We're going to plan ahead. When we anticipate those problems, we're going to be able to support children in problem solving. Proximity is really important. We want to be close to where the problem might occur. Not necessarily to prevent the problem from occurring, but to be close to prompt the child through the problem-solving steps and to help them calm down. And if necessary, we might have to support those problem solving before they're able to begin it on their own. Our next step is supporting by prompting children through problem solving. So we're going to remind them of the steps. We're going to keep them actively engaged in the problem solving process. Children unsure about this process might leave or give up if they don't have adult support. So prompting can be done verbally, or we can use visuals, including the solution cards and problem-solving step posters. And then we're going to encourage them. Good solutions don't always work, and they have to be encouraged to keep generating or trying other solutions. So we're going to be their cheerleader. We're going to encourage them to keep trying solutions and prompt them to use the solution kit cards. And then promote. We're going to support in the moment problem solving to reinforce success. And this can be done informally. Teachers can give children high fives, thumbs ups, a wink, verbal acknowledgement, hugs, all kinds of things. You can plan mini celebrations when a child has done a great job of problem solving. And these mini celebrations send a clear message to all of the children in the class that problem solving is valued. So this is another way to remind children of what to do when problems arise. So we want to review steps as part of our daily routine. This might be something that we do during our morning meeting, or something we do briefly as we release children to centers. So making a verbal statement, remember, when we're playing with our friends, if we have a problem, we're going to identify the problem. We're going to think of some solutions. We're going to check with our friends to see if everyone's okay with the solution. And then we're going to try out the solution. And sometimes the first solution we pick might not solve our problem, so we're going to keep trying with other solutions. So we have some examples on this slide that show a couple ways for teachers supporting the review of problem-solving steps and solutions. So the photo on the left shows a problem-solving calm-down wall outside on a playground. They can access the visual supports, including a feeling face, a mirror, the problem-solving steps, and a pinwheel to practice taking deep breaths. The photo on the right is from a program who used large circle time easel to review certain social and emotional skills every day as part of circle time routine. And every day as part of circle, children are reviewing those problem-solving steps and selecting solutions. So solution kits are great. Children have to be able to access ways on solutions that we've taught. So we see here, there are several examples. There's a wristlet available with the visual cue cards. There might be part of the block area that, that needs its own solution kit, especially if that's an area that frequently we have problem solving needing to happen. We can also have a solution kit that the children can take to the area where they have a problem. So we have solution kits here at ELC that are just like in a little pencil box, and they have breathing strategies in them, a little sand timer, some Band-Aids, a stress ball, all sorts of cute little things. And once we teach the children how to use that solution kit, we put it somewhere in the classroom for them to be able to easily access when they are able to try and use it on their own, or when we prompt them and support them through it. All right, so this is the 27-second video. So in this video, we're going to see a child reflecting on how he and his peer had a problem in the art solution and how they used their solution cards to solve their problem. So as a follow-up, the teacher might encourage this by sending a note home to the family to share that their child solved a problem at school that day. There's also some fun little stickers that can go along with it. And I just gave Miss Evelyn some yesterday. It has little stickers that said, I shared, or I took a turn, or I did this. It's really fun. We're gonna watch this just real quick.
Told me that he wanted to draw a robot, and I wanted to draw a cookie party, but we had a problem for that, but we used our solutions, and we used the solution called Play Together, and that's how we got it.
Awesome work, friend. Let's all give them a fantastic.
So it's just, a nice way for the children to reflect on, this was the problem, this is how we thought of the solution together, and here was the end result, and share that with the classroom, and children learn from each other. So we know children are beginning to generalize and maintain problem-solving skills when we see that they recognize when there's a social conflict that can be solved. They're able to generate solutions with their peers independently or with minimal adult support. They're able to recognize others who problem solve, and they're able to celebrate the conflict resolution together. Families might also report children using these problem-solving skills at home or in the community. So here are some materials that we'll share with you guys. A scripted story on we can be problem solvers at home, a home solution kit, positive notes home for classroom staff to send, and also, again, that backpack series connection. And this is going to wrap up our session for today. So I'm going to stop sharing and say thank you guys for being here. Let me grab the evaluation link really quick. As I'm doing that, do you guys have any questions for me? Or any thoughts on using the content?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use some of Glory's stuff, and I'm gonna use what I just learned today. Well, I'm gonna share it with my teacher.
Yeah.
I'm not in the classroom, so I see a lot of the work for us.
Yeah. Anything in particular that you thought was really interesting?
I thought when Gloria said how she bring out her information often to remind the kids of, you know, the behavior and emotions that they feeling, and some of the ideals. That was good to me because we don't, like I said, we only use the feelings, and she's only been here like 3 months. So, but we do in that class, we do have a lot of behavior. So, and I like the idea of talking out how they did Tucker the turtle, you know, child and talk to him. I think that's going to work great with our kids, you know, when we recognize, you know, them getting upset. So I think a lot of the examples is going to help me and the teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to use the take-home resource for my parents. I do explain to them examples that we use at school so that they can try to use the same strategies at home so the kids are on the same page and not confused. And I also ask the parents, you know, what strategies do they use at home? You know, so I know how they deal with their children too, to get a better understanding of what works for them. But I think doing the sending home the take home information would be very helpful and help some parents who may not have a clue on how to help their children, you know, self-regulate and discuss their emotions, and understanding that they don't know how they're feeling and that they need to be taught, you know, how to self-regulate, you know, how to problem solve. I think that's going to be really helpful.
Yeah. Fabulous. All right. Well, the evaluation's in the chat box. I'll also send it in the follow-up email this afternoon in case you're not able to do it right now. But that is going to wrap up our session for today. So I just want to say thank you, ladies, for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me.
Okay. Everybody have a great weekend.
As well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.